Death Row Records. Maintaining a gangster image with rap stars Snoop Dogg and Tupac Shakur went on to generate more than $300 million in record sales.
And I kicked it off with, woke up one morning out some bum-ass cot. Dick around the piece, so I moved around the block. Called my cousin Snoop, still know the lyrics. Dropped that verse, put the hook on there, and they dog, and Snoop come in with that. It's a rap.
Do I love them hoes? Hell no! And why is that?
Genius in this, you're a part of some of the blueprints. When Dre would come in and do certain things for certain records, he'd be like, damn, why didn't I think about that?
Dogg Pound, Daz and Kurupt, wild ass motherfuckers, don't give a fuck about nothing. They just wanna make some records, make some money.
G's up, hoes down, if the bitch can't swim, she's bound to drown. 2 a.m. on the dizzy, pause and I skizz out. I reminisce upon that ass that I reside.
This is the Dogg Pound right here, gangsters. We the group. Yeah, we the ones that put it down on the mic.
Kurupt and Daz is the Dogg Pound group rappers, you know what I'm saying? They stepping out on the front to maintain, to represent the whole clique as far as rap-wise. Nigga, we all one, we all family. Niggas just got different titles and different job duties, but we all handle it.
My money on my mind. We do this every day about the same time.
You already know what it is, y'all asked for it. The West Coast General, DPG, Daz Dillinger, Don Cannon. This is BackTrak on Tomorrow Network. You know what's going on. Yeah, we ready. We ready. Man, it's always a family affair. You know, I'm sitting here with one of my homies.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? This is years of it. You know what I mean?
Most
Even when he
definitely.
moved to the A, I would see him in the parking lot. He like, yo, what we doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
My man Daz Dillinger is here, the highly decorated. I'm sure you saw him on the net having his way.
Yeah.
But in our conversation, we dig deep into the minds of the
music.
artist, producer, technical.
Yeah.
And you know, when I say
Amazing.
highly decorated, man, you've played the
Perfection.
background for
You did.
so long, bro,
Yes,
that I
sir.
felt like you needed. And we don't say flowers around here. We say we need the medals. You know what I'm
I mean, I
saying?
like telling niggas, don't bring no flowers to me, they die.
You know what I'm saying? We got to bring
Bring
the
me the
medals.
land.
You know what I mean? The West Coast champion trophy holder, Daz Dillinger.
Hey,
What's
what's
up,
up,
my brother?
man? How you
Come on,
doing,
man.
Daz?
Come on, man. You know that we have numerous conversations over the years about, you know, music and getting together and just, you know, what you was teaching. You know, one of the first things you told me back in the day was the independency was one of the biggest things you could do for your career.
Yeah.
And you've taught so many people, and people don't know this, you've taught so many people the independent game. on the
Once you
West
get
Coast.
once you get out of the
Yeah,
record
matrix.
labels, the
The
record
matrix.
labels,
Yep.
because you know what I'm saying, bam, take off.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
You see a
Save
check
a
in a
little
different
money
way.
up or something, you know what I'm saying? Press your own unit. I mean, you know, back then, I'm still pressing records up.
Facts.
I'm getting $45 an album,
Facts.
shipping and handling 65 all together. I'm selling 15 to 20,000. That's when I'm pressing up. That's all I want to do.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So I make that 450,000 in like 60 days
Woo.
through Shopify.
Woo.
You know what I mean? And then I just keep pressing up and making albums every 2 months.
When you're doing this, who are you targeting? I know you have a fan base. I'm just saying, how do you target to get numbers in the 450,000?
Targeting Instagram
Okay.
and all these platforms out here and TikTok. You know what I'm saying? I got about 900,000 people.
Okay.
I'm on 20,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not tripping, you know what I'm saying? And they loyal fans, you know what I'm saying? They buy
Right.
because when I strike up on the CD for them, I put their name, grandmama name, all that shit, and they love it, and they come back and buy. So imagine me putting out 7 albums this year, and everybody buying them at $45 a pop.
Mm.
All of them at one time. So
Mm.
when they come out of my store, it's at least 250, 300.
Mm. There's a little birdie that once told me that some of the people you've taught gone on to make these big empires.
Yeah.
Ghazi and some of these guys.
Guys, he told you the truth?
Nah, he didn't tell me, but people told me, like,
I
you
know
know, he's
Nima.
a mentor of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I started out with Ghazi,
Uh-huh.
you know what I'm saying, in his apartment. He come to me and say, Daz, can I get your catalog? Because I was over there at In Grooves.
Mhm.
And my deal over there was 2080.
Mm.
And then Ghazi gave me the deal of 95.5.
Woo!
So that's why I'm just, you know what I'm saying? And then I brought Nima, shout out to Nima.
Yep.
I brought him from Germany and hooked him up with Ghazi.
You met him in Germany?
No, I met him years ago. He was a dude, he had a not a podcast, but a website called West Coast, you know what I'm saying? And Ghazi needed help. And he was he was the dude that I know.
Right.
I hooked him up with him and he flew him down. And then I started taking Ghazi around like Snoop and all King T, Dub C, everybody. And then, you know, I say, you know what? I'm gonna take you to Atlanta.
Ooh, we gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. What made you think that you could get a 95-5 split with somebody asking for your catalog? Was it like, I'm already making money, I don't need it? Or was it like, let me give this guy a chance? Or was
my homegirl Nessa,
okay,
from Hot 97, Kaepernick's wife, she hooked me up with it. That's my homegirl.
Wow.
See, I got her job.
Wow.
In the radio, because she was ready to quit. She was doing promotion, stuff like that, street team. And then she got into the radio, and she was like, I'm gonna quit. You better not. And see, I know, Hot 97, she's stuck, you know what I'm saying? She's the #1 girl out there. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? Shout out to Nessa.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I just be moving around and, you know, I don't ask nothing for it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I already know.
A good bag of weed.
Just planting the seed.
Yeah. I'm just happy that they in effect, you know?
Yeah, we got into the independent game. Let's start in the beginning though.
Most definitely.
Where you came up, were your parents in the music, family in the music? How'd you learn or know where you were going to be at early on? You started at what age?
I started at 1973. I was born.
Oh.
And my mother's name was Aline Venardo. Rest in peace to my mom.
Yeah.
She wrote songs for Bobby Blue Bland.
Nice.
She wrote songs for James Cleveland, Monk Higgins. She was in business with Miles Grayson was her producer.
Nice.
So if you look up my mother's name, her stage name was Lynn Venardo, Lynnvarnado. Check out there, you know what I'm saying? It's that soul music, like, my mom sang just like Gladys Knight to me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And then she transitioned from doing secular music to gospel music, where she was singing for Mattie Moss Clark, and you know what I'm saying? She was writing songs for James Cleveland and everything, you know what I'm saying? And she just taught me the music business.
Yeah, we talk about secular music. I interviewed DJ Premier and Dion, No ID, and Jimmy Jam. And one of the questions I asked them was, did you ever get any issues with making secular music from your family and, you know, coming from the church? And they was like, they never got issues. From your understanding, what is secular music, and did you have issues with it? Like, if
that's what
stop making that.
That's what the church called it.
That's what the church called it. So what's the secular mean?
Secular means you're out there.
Okay.
You're in the secular world.
Instead of in a godly
Christian
world.
You know what I'm saying? So you're listening to, I used to get in trouble listening to the Gap Band. Jack and Jill went up the hill, have a little fun. Stupid Jill forgot a pill, and bow, 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 bow. You know, ass whooping. You know?
But that's the Gap Band though. That ain't necessarily.
But you young singing this shit, and they know what you singing about, sex.
So what you supposed to be singing?
Jesus.
So your mom was heavy into writing and heavy into music.
Yeah.
How about dad? Did dad do any music?
Dad was working for the city of Miami.
Okay.
I lived in Miami too. Miami Garden Drive, 1175 Miami Garden Drive, Miami Garden, Liberty City. I grew up there too, as far as in the West Coast too. So my dad, you know, he ran a sober living for the city of Miami. So when you get out of jail and go to the council, you got to go see him.
Facts.
And he gonna look in your eye like, boy, you on drugs. So I grew up in Miami. I grew up in California first. Pops moved to Miami. And that's when I started going to Pac Jam. You know what Pac Jam is?
Of course.
Luke Skywalker.
That's right.
15 Ave.
Real secular.
You motherfucking right. So I was 808 DJs, and you know what I'm saying, from LaJuan Love to Brother Marquise and Mixed Mass, you know what I'm saying? And just in that scene going back and forth, and that's how I got my style with the triple.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
that's dope. It was something that I was talking to Warren, and I talked about focus. I talked about a couple guys,
Yeah.
and when I asked them the questions about what's the difference, or let me restate it. Why does the West Coast and the South so related? Like you say in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Warren said he was going out to Tennessee and where he was going all these years.
My mother from Mississippi.
Okay.
My dad from New Orleans, the 9th Ward.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
they both moved from their original place,
Right.
California.
Right.
Both of them was in California, and my dad moved to Miami.
Right.
And then got remarried out there. And then, you know, I just back and forth and just learning hip hop.
So learning two different sides.
Two Live Crew. You did.
Yeah. So I always wondered, it's like, man, everybody's saying, yeah, my family in the South. And it's like, how so many West Coast people family in the South?
Because their daddies and mama here, and then they migrated
Got you.
to the
And
where
mostly
better
from
living.
New Orleans and,
Yeah.
and Mississippi and all those places.
Where we crawfish, and catfish, and
That's a
neck
fact.
bones,
That's a fact.
motherfucking oxtails and shit, greens.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I always had a problem with the West Coast with how they decorated it. And they always said gangster rap.
Yeah.
So I always knew it was a difference between hip hop and rap. Do you know the difference between hip hop and rap, or do you have an idea what you think it is?
I mean, I just call it hip hop.
Yeah, so I don't never understood why they call it.
Just because
they always call it
niggas talking about
gangster
busting
rap.
and shooting and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That
but
type of shit.
why they call it gangster rap instead of gangster hip hop?
I mean, we rapping. What James Brown
Y'all
said,
had bars,
I can
though.
dig rapping. Y'all niggas took it from there.
Y'all had bars though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
we
would think
learned
they should
from
call
that.
it G hip hop instead of G rap. You know what I'm saying?
Gangster hip hop. That's what I call it.
And gangster hip hop.
Yeah, G for the G funk and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because me personally, I learned everything I learned from Warren G.
Right,
That's my teacher, Warren G and Dr. Dre.
right.
Warren G taught me how to use the drum machine when I stole it. You know what I'm
He
saying?
ain't tell me you stole it.
Yeah, you know how back in the days, like studios like this, we used to a place called SIR where they rent shit.
Yeah.
So it was on Death Row. I told them, rent me 2 drum machines, 2 MP60, an M1, a mold. I'm taking that shit home. Let them deal with the bill.
And you never came back?
Never came back with it. Still got the shit. That's what I remade for right now with the Juno 106 and the Mood. You know what I'm saying?
So you ran off on the
I
bill.
stole all my
plug.
equipment. I still got it to this day.
Legendary.
Yeah.
First age you started making music would have been,
I was 7. I was
7.
DJing.
okay, same.
I'm a DJ.
Yeah,
My name was Young DJ, Young Jedi.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I stole all my shit from the VIP.
yeah,
I'm gonna take the trash out, Cal. I got a pyramid mixer, you know, the wood one,
yeah.
with the fader that go up like that, turntables in the trash, and then I would take my shit to the park with the speakers and DJ, you know what I'm saying, have my homeboys, and then I got into it with him, and that's how I became a solo artist.
Oh wow, you had the equipment. You stole that, but where'd you get the records from?
VIP. You know, in my auntie's house, you know, everybody had vinyl back then.
Yeah, you just go to, hey auntie, eat and
She
steal.
wouldn't even know I'm gone. I was a good thing.
So at 7 you was DJing, and then you became a solo artist around what age?
10.
10. Damn, you got the same life as me. I started early, and then I was rapping and making beats around 10.
And then Snoop used to come by all the time, and I had a raccoon hat, and he had a Kango. He like, that's trade. You know what I'm saying? So I gave him the coon hat. I took the LL hat.
Why y'all wanted to trade?
I mean, he wanted to trade with me. He bought me some donuts. You know what I'm saying? It was a donut shop. You know
Y'all
what I'm
buy you
saying?
some donuts. Let me get the raccoon hat.
Most definitely. Me and Snoop, you know, we like brothers. You know what I'm saying? We cousins, but we grew up together.
Yeah,
Like from,
I see my cousin Keith is here.
You know
This
what
we
I'm
the
saying?
same way. When I was little, I used to be the Dr. Dre. He used to be the Snoop. I used to make
Yeah.
all the beats, and he used to rap on the beats. And
that's
shit.
what I used to do. I used to DJ, and Snoop
Yeah.
used to rap.
Yeah, it's dope. How did Warren come into the picture? I know y'all were very young and y'all family members. How did he come in and kind of just be like, yo, was it like, you know, when I was talking to him, it was more like, well, y'all trying to get out the hood, or y'all really just was into music, y'all ain't care about nothing? Like, did he come and say, yo, I think you special, you should make beats? Or he just was like, yo, I want you to stay out the streets and make these beats?
Now he'd be like, he look for talent and see what it is, you know what I'm saying, and like keep on going. But we always was going to him because he was always going to around NWA and shit, coming
Right.
back with the jackets and shit, with the AK-47s on it and shit. And then he used to come back with the Easy Does It albums. you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And have shit that we didn't have, you know what I'm saying? And like, damn, we like, nigga, hook that up. And Warren G done gangbang, but he ain't no punk, but he used to say, I'm going home.
Right.
And niggas is shooting, killing, robbing, and all that shit and feuding, he want to walk home. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfucker crazy. And then, you know, so, you know, just growing up like that, and then, you know, with Snoop, and then that's when the DOC used to come drop Snoop off.
Right.
And all we used to see was the back of his truck with his face on it riding off. We missed him.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like, damn.
Damn.
And then later on, we used to do mixtapes with Warren G. He always put us on some like N&M, so, you know. And then next thing I know, Deep Cover come out.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying? And then everybody was on. Kurupt, me, Rage, RBA, Jewels.
Yeah.
DOC.
I noticed that around I talked to Terrace Martin. I always do these
Shout out
references.
to Terrence, I just talked to him.
And Terrace was telling me that 808 started in the West Coast, really. You
808
being from Miami, I mean, and being down there,
Yeah.
how do you agree with him saying that 808 started that early 84?
It was an 808 rolling drum machine. Everybody had one. You know what I'm saying? The first one I seen actually was from Dr. Dre. When we used to sample from his drum machine. Boom. Then you got the cadence where you make it go boom.
Right.
Like that. So, you know, and then Miami, I was just learning how because they was pitching their shit off of SP 1200.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then everybody on the West Coast was using an MP60. The box one. I still got that one. And I got the MPC 62.
Yep.
The 3.
Yep.
The 3.5 with everything else they came out with.
You had all of it.
I bought the last 2 though.
Why you buy the last 2? Why you just steal them?
Nobody had it. You know, like them little ones right now. Right now, them little ones is up for grabs.
Right, they everywhere,
if they sitting around, they got.
So Warren taught you mostly how to make the beats. How far into it were you like, I'm gonna just start doing my own shit and start producing for people around the neighborhood? Or
started out with a girl called Paradise, Suge Knight girlfriend.
Okay.
If you listen to that Deep Cover soundtrack, it's a song on there called Down for My Nigga. Snoop wrote that. And after that, we started producing for her. And then we was in Solar Records. You heard of Solar Records,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
Motherfucking Babyface,
Yeah.
Whispers, Lakeside, Foster Silver, all of them. And I was taping over them niggas' tapes. And that's when Dick Griffey come in and said, what you taping on? I said, I'm taping over a tape. I'm learning how to do this shit.
What was you doing,
I
bro?
seen Dr. Dre do it.
Oh, okay.
Because Dr. Dre would take what he got off the drum machine,
Right.
put it on the tape.
Right.
Then he'd come in and add live bass,
Right.
live guitar, strings, and all other kind of shit, scratching this. And I'm like, okay, shit.
Right.
I can take it in here and put my shit in there. So when I say something hype, I can add shit to make it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just started learning that, and that was 2-track, analog.
Yeah.
It's a difference now, y'all. Analog, digital.
Yep.
I still run my shit through a 2-inch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I get that feel bass shit
Right.
along with that, and then it all makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Explain that. Why is it that you want to still stay with the tape? And it's a lot of work to work on the tape. You know what I mean?
If you're using tape.
Right.
But I just run it through them 2 channels.
Oh, you run through the channels and then there.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then sometime I would, them tapes was $250 a wop.
Right. Right.
Them expensive tapes, you know.
Right.
If you wanted to record, you had to get up 250.
Yeah. And you had to cut them.
You
You
had to sync.
losing. You know
You got
what
to
I mean?
sync, and you can only get 3 songs on there.
Yeah. That. So you anti-digital or you still?
I'm all digital.
You all digital now.
Yeah, I ain't got time for that shit no more. I just run shit through there, knock that shit out, and I use a lot of programs and shit. You just gotta know how to work them motherfuckers and use them. And you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of plugins and keyboards and shit from Sweetwater.
You're right.
I mean, anything type of using music to record on, anything, I'm gonna use it.
Right. Before I want to get into the DPG, first check you got for making a beat, how much was that?
$25,000.
Woo! That early?
Yeah. Sunset
You
Park.
was rich.
Sunset Park. We blew that in a week though. We was smoking weed, all kind of shit. We didn't know nothing about taxes.
I mean, but weed
None of that
ain't
shit.
cost that much.
We was
then.
buying pounds though.
Oh.
We was smoking. We wasn't buying no sacks and shit. We was buying
about to
pounds. They
say.
was like $7,000, $8,000 a pound.
Damn.
California, you know what I'm saying?
Sheesh.
Back then.
Damn, he ran through the 25 in a week.
But we was still getting money though, because
Yeah.
that was just one beat. You know, I'm doing 5 or 6. I'm the producer.
You was doing independent stuff too, like Brown Paper Bag Money,
Yeah,
right?
all that too. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Getting them niggas in the street, you know what I'm saying? But I was chopping them down 15-10.
Woo.
Cash, you know, it's a difference when you got that cash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
How many compositions of the beats at that time were you making, or were you just working with artists? I know a lot of people, and even in these days, people hand out beat tapes, they hand out stuff. I've always seen you in a certain environment where you need to be there with the artist.
Yeah.
You need to create there. Was it a beat tape thing, or was it like, yo, pull up to the studio, I'm gonna work with you?
no, I just make some shit and I have them come in and listen to it. Cause I don't know who gonna get it. I'm a beat maker, producer, musician in the morning. I make all my music in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Fresh up, bam, bam. And I hit that blunt and da-da-da and start hearing all them sounds and going through the record. See, back there, they didn't have sounds and shit that we could
Facts.
grab. We had to go each record. Hit, all right, cool. Let me get that. Okay. From the back to the front, hi-hats, everything, you know what I'm saying? And then if they didn't have the money, somebody else was get it. Just like 2 of America's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
This dude that I knew, he passed away, but if he would have had that, you know, 1700 at the time, he would have had Ain't Nothing But a Gangsta Party.
Damn, the hook was on it too?
Hell yeah, that's me on the hook.
Ooh, I know it was you, but I'm just saying, was the hook on it before?
Hell yeah, everything was on there. He says, oh, she can't get it, man. I went to the, then Should call me like,
Damn,
yeah,
you couldn't
come
get
to
the 1700?
He didn't come with it. I'm like, okay, so all to the good. So when I went to the studio with Tupac rapped on it, and then Snoop walked in the door. And I'm like, damn, there you go right there.
That's
Second
the song
verse.
right there. Did you facilitate that? You was like, yo, hop on that, or it was just
It
natural?
was natural. Nigga like, hey, what's up? Nigga,
Damn,
bam.
that's crazy. Let's talk about DPG.
Yes, sir.
Kurupt, Philadelphia, Spitter. They always say Cherry Hill.
Garbage.
We adopted Jersey in a sense, but always one of the best rappers. Anytime we have a conversation about Philly rappers, it always goes something like Black Thought, Kurupt,
Yeah,
Will
Darby
Smith,
Town.
you know what I'm saying?
I lived out there with in Philly and Darby Town.
Oh, yeah, in Darby, yep.
Yeah. So, you know, had great times, you know, running around Philadelphia,
Yeah.
Gotham,
Yeah.
the club.
Gotham, yeah.
We seen Nas in there, you know what I'm saying? And Joey Molino.
Joey Marlino.
Fucking
Oh,
right.
yeah, you
seen
really
him?
in Philly.
Yeah, most
that was
definitely.
Kurupt, man. Yeah.
All that
Yeah.
shit.
Most people that come from Philly, like I had a homie named Stevie Williams, skateboarder, and he had a joint called DGK. And he told me how he ran away state to state. He ran from Philly, he went to DC, he went to all these places, and ended up in Cali. Is that something that Kurupt, how did you and Kurupt meet? Like, did he
But
just
Kurupt
end up-
stole his mama car,
Oh,
and she booted his ass all the way to California to his daddy house.
yo.
And so then from then on, he, you know, hooked up with Lamont and them. They from 60
Okay.
in LA. And so, you know, he can rap, but nigga can rap. You know
Nigga
what I
can
mean?
rap.
Philly niggas can rap.
That nigga can rap.
And so he like, damn, but he was so little with a hell of a big voice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then he was already on Death Row at the time. And then I came and I got on Death Row, but we were solo artists.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so we did the Chronic, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And I just started learning how to produce, and he was rapping and shit. And then, you know, we used to hang out more. We tell him, come hang out more, you know what I'm saying? Because he was in LA, we was in Hollywood.
Right.
So he would come, and then, you know, we was getting high one night, talking about the hood and Dogg Pound and shit. And we looked at the moon, we started smoking. We like, damn, we're going to become the dog. Let's become the Dogg Pound. I said, let's become the Dogg Pound.
Yeah.
Let's represent where we come from. And then next day we did Niggas Don't Give a Fuck as the Dogg Pound.
Wow.
The John Singleton soundtrack.
Wow.
Produced by Dr. Dre.
Wow. Let's talk about the Chronic in that era. Since y'all met around there and got cool, just being around it, what was the biggest thing you learned and the least thing you learned being around that situation?
Just keep your motherfucking eyes open. You know what I mean? It can go down any second. You know what I'm saying? And be in your own zone, but keep it solid.
Right.
And, you know, just hanging around Dr. Dre, at the time.
Because y'all had the house. He had the house.
We had
with
an
all the-
apartment.
Okay, it was apartment.
We had an apartment
Okay.
on Whitley and Sunset.
Okay.
And we used to go around the corner and steal our food in the morning, like 7 niggas in the house.
Whole
you know
lot
what
of
I'm saying?
stealing, nigga.
So niggas have a couple of food stamps and shit, have one nigga go get the eggs, another get the bacon, nigga go get the bread, and we'd coordinate, run out that motherfucker.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And then we used to call a homeboy L-Dog, rest in peace, and put 187, 211, 911.
Yo.
That means 2 bags of weed. You know, 'cause we didn't have no phone and none of that. And just feuding with, you know, with other people with Dr. Dre and NWA, you know what I'm talking about? So we was really on like some street shit if we would have caught him.
Right.
And that's when we started feuding with Eazy-E in there,
Right.
with Dr. Dre. And then we made the Chronic album. And the Chronic album was just so, I just couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard a couple of songs, like, damn, this shit clear as a motherfucker. It didn't sound like East Coast rap, you know what I'm saying? How the dirty, you know what I'm saying?
I talked about that. Yup.
Like that, this shit was like clear. That's why I was learning, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And then we just started working and, you know, we never knew what we was creating with the Chronic album.
Yeah.
And never imagined what it is, you know what I'm saying? Like to now we know what it means, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucker, Congress, all this shit and shit, you know what I'm saying? And the whole nine, you know, just that whole era. And people didn't even know who we was.
Right.
They just knew our voice.
And y'all was working
We talk.
together. Yeah, y'all was working together on. But the one thing that I noticed was a lot of y'all stories are exact the same. Like y'all didn't understand what y'all were hearing at the time.
Mm-mm.
Did y'all know y'all were making a classic, or did y'all just like, yo,
It was in
let's
Dr. Dre
cannibal
hands.
Dr. Dre?
It's all in Dr. Dre hand. He was the one that could put you on. You could be rapping there, his ass be like, cut, you fired, get out of here. Niggas looking at you like,
that fast.
next song you probably get on. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of fire.
Yeah, I'm glad it was it was a helping situation.
It was a learning experience.
Yeah. But some of the sounds you learned, what were some of the sounds that you learned from there? I noticed in those, it was a lot of like ear candy, like you would hear something flying over your head and some of the
Like I was
records and
listening to
stuff
your
like that.
thing when you and Warren G
Yeah.
was talking about Little Ghetto Boy, and he came with the sample. If you listen to that, the part that I brought into Little Ghetto Boy was them violins.
Crazy.
That
Crazy.
part, that's what I brought
That's
in
one of
there.
the best parts right there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then I scratched on high power. That's me. You know what I'm saying? So I was DJing, learning, and they just gave me drum programmer.
Mm.
So, you know, I just
I'll take it.
I take it in. Next thing I know, I'm producing Doggy Style, more on Doggy Style, and then it's just full-fledged after that shit.
That's why I wanted to jump
Especially
in.
after I fucking stole the drum machine. It was on.
I wanted to jump into Doggy Style because arguably that's one of my favorite albums of all time. And not because of all the song content or why the wave was like it, was because it was clear, like you said,
Yeah.
right? The samples didn't sound like samples. They sounded crazy.
Played them over.
The music was all good. And then the raps were good. And the way he brought the features together. And it was a family affair. Creating that album, how much different was that from creating or just being a part of like albums like The Chronic or some of the independent records you were doing? How was Doggy Style different?
We really couldn't tell because we was just on one, on a ride, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
everything we was coming out the house with, because we started hooking the microphone up to the phone. That's where W balls come from. You know, motherfuckers call, what's up, y'all? Dick in your mouth, what's up? Bitch. You know what I'm saying? And then we record that shit and then just more fun.
Right.
The Chronic was more, fuck you, this the riot going on,
Yeah.
looting,
Yeah.
and all that shit. And the Doggy Style was, we finna have some motherfucking fun.
Right. You're right.
And then from then on, it was all fun till murder was the case that they gave me. You know, it's all the levels to this shit.
Let's go through that. So you went from Snoop Dogg,
Smoking Chronic,
Dogg,
fucking a bitch Doggy Style, to murder was the case. And then above the rim, no, dog food, yeah, above the rim,
Uh-huh.
dog food.
Right.
But we never got a chance to explore out there to be artists because I was still working, producing and shit.
Right.
And we was then, and then Tupac came in and I was still stuck in the studio. So
Right.
our time passed on with the Dog Food album. It just went double platinum, you know, shit.
Oh man, Dog Food was there because I'm not even ready to get into that. That's one of my favorite joints. You talked about Doggy style sounding different from samples because I replayed it. What gave y'all the idea to say, yo, we're gonna replay it? Was it, yo, we ain't gonna let them take all the money, or we just wanted to sound original, or what was it about
Loving
it
the artists that made music before us.
Right.
Cause we would have George Clinton in the motherfucking house with
Right,
us, you know what
exactly,
I'm saying? So shit,
exactly.
you know, we got the Ohio players in the house with us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All them great artists we was kicking it with,
Right.
learning from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like our music right now is what their music was to us,
Right.
to the young generation. Cause I get so many sample clearance for Ambitionz over Ridah,
Facts.
I might throw the computer out the door, but I can't. I have money on that.
Yeah.
But you know, just learning from them and, you know, just hearing one little riff of they shit can spark an idea to make that one chord a full chord.
Got you. Yeah, that's what y'all were learning about.
Yeah.
Just being them
Cadence,
being in the house. Yeah.
all that shit from Bernie
Yeah.
that played with George Clinton, all that shit.
Yep.
Tweaking the mood, learning how to tweak that thing and make it
Right.
sound and
Right.
woo, and smooth and boom, 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 all that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a bad thing right there.
Yeah. Nah, right there is crazy.
I got two of those.
Bitches Ain't Shit and Doggy Dog World is like one of them sleeper records. You know what I'm saying? Like you had your hits, but you had those. Was those just records that y'all was like, this is what the crew need, this is what we marching on?
Yeah, because Dr. Dre had put that beat on. We was listening to MC
Which
Shan.
one? Doggy or
Bitches Ain't Shit.
Okay.
We were listening to MC Shan.
Uh-huh.
And then Dr. Dre started doing, then Kurupt started rapping. Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Lick on the nuts and say, and Dr. Dre said, stop. That's the hook.
Damn.
And then we started putting that shit around, and DOC wrote Dre part, Snoop wrote his part, I wrote my part, Kurupt wrote his part, and then Joel sung on it.
Yeah.
It was a rap.
Bro, that was crazy. That was
Then
crazy.
we was listening to Richard Dimplefields. Know who that is?
Yeah.
Crazy mixed up world.
Yes.
It's a doggy. Oh yeah, we need that.
Yeah.
And then we was kicking it with the dramatics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it just stayed around music and shit and just being the classic, you know, learning timeless music.
It was more the access more than just calling them up. It's like y'all had access to be with the dramatics. So they'd be like, yo, y'all could add this to this.
Because all the musicians that we had, from bass players, guitar players,
from them
they
places.
all came from like Detroit and all the Motown, Stax, and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. We moving on, but before I get into dog food, Dogg Pound gangsters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the dog come from?
Snoop Dogg.
So that was just it. So that was the
Just
Dogg
we
Pound.
dogs, you know what I'm saying? We're part of the dog. You know, this the Dogg Pound. The Dogg Pound is where we lived at.
Right.
We called our house the Dogg Pound.
Got you. Okay.
So all the niggas would hang over there, and then, you know what I'm saying, we got the DPGC, that's Dogg Pound Gangster Crip, you know,
yeah.
gang banging and all kind of shit going on, you know what I'm saying? So we like, nigga, me and Kurupt gonna represent Dogg Pound,
Right.
which is the gang.
Right.
We gonna rap it and do what we do, and that's how it became.
Wow.
But we got the name the Dogg Pound from the Cleveland Browns. Because the name of their team is the Dogg
Pound.
And they got that name trademarked, so I could never trademark the motherfucker.
So you gotta go
So
DPG.
we just gotta reword that motherfucker.
DPG. Dog Food, one of my favorite albums. I mean, I was young. I was 14 when we was listening to the Dogg Pound album.
Yeah.
One thing I did like about it recently, well, within the past 10 years, Mustard redid Let's Play House, right? For YG. Did you ever think that that song would be recreated later on from something you created? Did you ever think your music was gonna be sampled like it's being sampled now?
Not now like that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm getting a hell of a lot of licenses now. And that's the new game now.
Facts.
License.
Facts.
It's all about the percentage of the song when you're making that song, get an understanding now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that percentage could pay you for the rest of your life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the person who played on it was Terrence Martin. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Terrence Martin, you know.
He trying to act like he only 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
With that saxophone. I just talked to Terrence. T-Mac, what's up?
Yeah.
So, you know, he played on that. Shout out to Mustard, you know what I'm saying? They
Yep.
came, let us know. And they said, I know we was on stage with YG performing that song.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing.
Yeah, that was a big record. A lot of production on that album, like doom, doo, 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 doo,
Yeah.
doo, doo, doo.
I made that in Houston.
Oh,
I made that before the Chronic,
wow.
when we was doing the Chronic on the MP.
And that didn't land on the Chronic?
Nah,
Ooh.
because Dr. Dre was, you know, that was us. We just
Yeah.
working it out. We was living at this dude named Tommy House
Mm.
in Houston. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Out there doing shows at 955, you know what I'm saying, before then.
Yeah, real Renaissance man. You traveled.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I heard that, it was like I was coming into puberty. So like, you know what I mean? I was, you know, my mom couldn't hear us playing that in the room.
Yeah, that was.
You got some bomb ass. And she be like, well, she
And then we got the idea being out here in Atlanta. When Freaknik, you know what I'm saying?
Yo,
we made that
that's
song around
crazy.
Freaknik, but I made the beat around Deep Cover Time.
Mm,
And we made the song Freaknik Time. So there was a gap between there. That's why we say in Atlanta, you know, it was going down.
You did say that in that song. What was it about Freaknik that made y'all wanna
We ain't never
Right
seen
about
no
it.
shit like that. Fuck my car. I'm gonna go out here and party all night. Car ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? That's when the police used to put the car on the exit when they didn't want you to come party no more. And you
Facts.
go to the next town.
Right.
They done blocked all the exits off.
They did, bro.
It
I
was
remember
crazy, man.
every
You know what I'm
exit
saying?
you couldn't even get off.
I'm talking about this motherfucker was packed. The street, you couldn't even go nowhere.
How old was you when you came out for that?
Shit, I was like 21. We was out here working with Deion Sanders.
Oh wow.
Deion Sanders rapped on Afro Puss before Rage.
Get out of here.
So it's a version out there with Deion Sanders. Bus and Kurupt wrote it.
Get out of here.
You know what I'm saying? And we was producing for Deion Sanders' album.
Yo, that's crazy. How did that happen?
Suge Knight. The Sugar Bear!
He was trying to give all the records
He was
to
over there
Deion.
fucking with Hammer, and Hammer
Yeah.
was fucking with Deion.
Right.
So, them three, you know.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy. I would have never guessed Afro Puffs was that.
Yeah.
How did it end up with Rage?
He didn't use it. They got into it or something like that, you know what I'm saying? But some other shit, and we gave it to Rage. And then when Dr. Dre mixed it and put one side, it was over with.
Bro, that shit was incredible. I ain't never heard nothing like that. Because all our examples was MC Light,
Yeah.
Queen Latifah, you know what I'm saying? Those was our examples then. And that was a different example of what it was.
And I got that sample from Johnny Guitar Watson.
That's a West Coast favorite.
Just a little piece of that. And then Dr. Dre took it in, the other one, boom, 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 and made a remix to it.
Whew.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Rage. That song still pays to this day.
Shout out to Rage. The genius in this is that you're a part of some of the blueprints. When Dre would come in and do certain things for certain records, he'd be like, damn, why didn't I think about that? How did that make you feel like with him? It's like, man, I need to learn more from this guy.
Now, everything he did, I learned from. You know what I'm saying? So,
But how did you take it in? Like, how did you say, oh, because
when he
each
leave the
each
studio, I'm
record
gonna
is
do what he
different.
did. I used to listen to how he does his kicks.
Yeah.
So he would have a knock like, you know, like a kick that,
Yep.
and then he'd have a real kick like boom, but he would turn all the motherfucking highs down and then turn the kick up. So it's motherfucking like boom. That's what I learned. Like, all right, oh yeah, I got that. That's my shit now. You want that motherfucker, bum, 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 bum. Just beating, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Turn the highs down
Right.
and load, put the volume back up along so it's gonna hit hard. Boom.
Wow.
And especially when I had the 808 reverse with the kick.
Yeah, I do know that from your
Oh, I love
production.
that.
There's a thing that Jay Dilla used to use for his claps. Supposedly, he would take 2x4s and clap them together and make his claps louder. How did y'all get y'all claps and snares like super, super hitting like that? I know you talked about the kick, but like for the snares, how did those claps they translated? That was the West Coast clap. The West Coast snare was always coined to this day.
Yeah.
How did y'all get them like that?
Have a bunch of niggas clapping.
And
Get
then
in there.
get it.
We want to make sure you niggas got red in the middle of y'all hands. We need that. And then I would go in there and start it off first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then sample that shit and go 3, and then go.
Oh, yeah, well, blend all the claps together so it'd be different ones.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Like that, you know what I'm saying?
And then would y'all add the snare under it? Like, how would y'all blend it?
They had the snare up under it.
Okay.
But the way this SSL worked, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
With them effects and shit like that.
Yeah, bro.
I was just learning. I was just mesmerized, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I would have stole that motherfucker if I had a truck. It was too big though. It was 48 track. I'm like, I don't even know how to hook this shit
I remember
up.
them boys. You can't get that joint out the door.
Yeah. Well, just give me one of the track, you know. I hook that thing up, but
another part of the sound was I always called the theremin. You used it on a couple of records, you know, or the lead, however you want to say it. I know on the T.I. record, can't you see that I'm fly? Yeah. It was like that.
Yeah, that was the move.
Yeah, so that was the move. What was important? Why did almost every record have to have that in there? Was that the signature? What was it about?
Signature gangster sound for us, you know what I'm saying? Because George Clinton had it. You know what I'm saying? And I had fun making that T.I. song. Shout out to T.I.
That's one of my favorites too.
Shout out to Shorty B, you know what I'm saying? And Shorty came with the bass. Came with that, cause I had that song for Tupac already, you know what I'm saying? So I gave it the tip, you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm like, you sound good on that one.
Yeah.
And then I was like, flies, just a little bit, tell him what
right.
And then he took that hook, what I was giving him, and made that what he made, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I noticed all those records had that lead. Sometimes when I heard that when I was a kid, I thought that lead meant danger. I always kind of thought about it as in a Boys in the Hood aspect. It was like, you heard that lead, you either heard that or jam on it, you was about to get killed.
And most definitely, especially when that high.
You know that new IG shit where they got Ricky, they got that music, the horn playing, you know you about to die. That's how I thought about some of that shit. I'd be like, man, jam on it, start playing that doom, doom. It's like, oh, nigga, drive-by about to happen.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like my G-Funk is aggressiveness.
Yep.
Like all my music is aggressive.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? 808 beating by serious shit, you know what I'm saying? And on the beat, all that shit, you know what I'm saying? So I be trying to make happy shit, but
nah, you ain't gonna make no happy shit.
It's just gotta be hard, you know what I'm saying? And just like, you know, love making music.
One of the things that it was hard for me to do is once I was a DJ, producer, rapper, I would DJ for a long stint. And then I'd go produce for a long stint or I rap. Being a rapper, producer, and a DJ, did you do them all at once, or were you like, I'm gonna produce for 6 months, I'm a DJ for 6 months, I'm gonna just start rapping and not do that? Where did you get to a point where you was like, I'm gonna just rap only, or I'm gonna just produce only? Or did you was like, yo, I'm gonna just do both and write hooks? Or
I'm doing it all.
You're doing it all. You never really had to go in and out of
wherever I was needed at.
Yeah, you did it all. Where'd you get that mentality from?
Just being there with Dr. Dre and everybody asking me to come in here and help me to do this.
You just wanted to stay in the game.
Yeah, you know, just learning, you know what I'm saying? And I was the guy to go to as far as making music because I was breaking in the studio.
Right.
I would break in the studio at Solar Records, me and Kurupt. We would go up there and we would go in the elevator and I would take the panel off the thing. And give me 2 pieces of foil. Hook the foil up there and bam, the motherfucker going to the 2nd floor. We in there now. Then I go crack the door to go down the stairs so we have a way to go up. And that's how I was be able to learn the board to use the equipment and take the equipment home sometimes.
But doing all that, how did you not be like, man, I gotta wait. I don't want them to come in here and see me like this?
Because Dr. Dre and them come in at nighttime.
Okay.
So when they leave, I'm snatching the shit. I got it all day till we say we going to the studio because the studio was around the corner, Dre in Calabasas.
Right.
So he gonna take 2 or 3 hours to get there.
That's a fact. So you had the machine. So you would bring them back or you would just keep them?
We'd bring them back.
Okay, right before he was ready. Hook them up the same way and everything?
Same way, everything. It was just 2 plugs. And then when they start recording, you know, they got all the 8.
Yep.
And then the sync.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro, that was crazy to do all that. Was that an everyday thing? Or
slicing tape and all kind of shit. I learned it up. Oh, that's the kick. All right, slice that thing. Oh, fucked up. Put some more tape back on it. Put it back in there, and that's find the groove.
He using everybody tape to do it.
Yeah.
Y'all did this every day?
We did this every day. I think the second song that we made was every single day. Me, Nate Dogg,
Damn.
and Snoop, Kurupt.
It's every day for how long? 3 months, a year?
Shit, till the Chronic was done, until we got kicked out that motherfucker too. We started working at Larrabee's.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that Dick Griffey shit. Then we went to Larrabee's, and then that's when Interscope came in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a whole new money game.
You wasn't stealing from that motherfucker.
And we were still stealing.
Right.
Shit, they needed us to do something, go rent the equipment. You know what I'm saying?
We gonna take the motherfucker.
They was getting money from Jimmy Iovine.
Oh shit.
He was breaking it off. It was a whole new thing.
Jimmy didn't come and say, Daz, you know you can't do this.
That's when we used to go in Jimmy's office and listen to all Tupac music and shit, like
Oh, yeah.
all the unreleased shit and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm glad y'all accepted him, you know, being a East Coast like Kurupt. Like he was an East Coast guy, but y'all accepted his rap style. What was it about him that y'all were just like, bro, he one of us?
You know, just hanging out his mentality, you know what I'm saying? Like, Me Against the World raps don't sound like All Eyes on Me raps.
Mm-hmm.
All Eyes on Me raps, I was the first person he came in contact with, and I'm showing him my style. Like some people might get mad, but some people say to me, Tupac got your style.
Mm-hmm.
When he rapped, you know what I'm saying? Because I used to be there all the time making them hooks, you know, because we stayed next door. He stayed on the right side, we stayed on the left.
Right.
He smelled the smoke, he hit it, boom, boom, boom. He coming on, knocking on the door.
Right.
I always say the first nigga get the worm. I mean, you know, early bird get the worm. Who want
Right.
these beats?
Right.
Before half of you other niggas get them.
Right. So he was just hungry. He was just coming in there just
He was
doing
hungry,
Yeah.
especially with Ambitionz Az when we dropped all that. Ambitionz Az, 2 of America's Most Wanted, I Ain't Mad at You, Scandalous, and Got My Mind Made Up. And then we played on It's All About You. The Moog lines on All About You,
Yeah.
that's Superfly.
Mm.
Superfly, cold motherfucker.
Cold, bro. Cold. On All Eyes on Me, Ambitionz of a Ridah, matter of fact. That record, how did that come about? Like, that's such a simple piano. Most of us will overproduce it.
Yeah.
What made you keep it simple? Did you have being a rapper / producer, you always had the idea of the hook or how the record's supposed to go in your head. Did that make it simple, or was it more like
Just hip hop.
hip hop?
When I heard, Get Busy, y'all. You know what that is, right?
Yes, sir.
Listen to Get Busy, y'all. Joski Love.
I know.
And you'll put them two together, and Ambitionz of a Ridah is Joski Love.
Uh-huh.
The drums, everything. And I just stripped the music down to boom, 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 all that shit. Oh, yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
And put the ooh, then the ooh.
Yeah.
It's a rap.
Right.
Because I came in and did the same beat over for Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
They have Rockefeller flew me down, and I didn't know who I was going to do no music for. You know, I was going up the bass line, and I heard, "What's up?" It was Cameron, and I went in there and redid Ambitionz of a Ridah. But then Suge stepped in because I wasn't even on Devil. He was just trying to bully everybody,
Right.
and they gave the credit to somebody else.
How'd that happen?
Suge Knight.
I'm just saying you wasn't on Death Row no more.
I mean, but you know, he was always trying to fuck up shit that niggas was doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I get paid for that song still, you know,
Yeah.
25%. Anytime they use Ambitionz of a Ridah, me and Tupac split it.
That's
50. We get 50% of that. He get 25, I get 25, and everybody else got to split the rest of that shit up.
Right. Mine Made Up, another one of my favorites. I know I argue with this. I know you know Lake Show.
Yeah.
We argue. We had
Lake-
these big
Like
we had these big arguments about Tupac. Tupac wasn't in my top 5, but in the later years, he has became that because I've seen his influence
yeah.
in the schools. One of the times we was in Florida A&M, they had a hip hop school down there. Me and Dron was in the book for our case, but also Tupac had a whole chapter. You know what I'm saying? Damn near a whole like. So
listening.
I started listening. I started watching it. I'm like, bro meant so much to the game. You know what I mean? And just was a sponge. I watched how he learned from Tretch. He learned from a lot of people. Mine Made Up. Hell of a record, bro.
That song originated with the Dogg Pounds first. Rage was on there
Okay.
in Tupac's spot.
Okay.
And so Kurupt had called me one day and said, I'm coming over your house. I didn't know I've got a couple of guests. Okay, I look up. It's Redman, Method Man, and Inspector Deck in my motherfucking living room basement. You know what I'm saying? I'm smoking their ass out. Shout out Method Man, Redman, and Inspector Deck. And so, we recorded on ADATs.
Uh-huh.
But I used to record on VCR tapes.
Uh-huh.
I format them motherfuckers instead of buying them $40, $50 tapes and 8 tapes.
Mhm.
I go to CVS and go get me a $7 3-pack
Wow.
and format that thing. I'm like, this motherfucker, it worked.
TDKs or the cheap
JVCs.
Oh, JVCs.
So I put it on there, and so you got the music on the first tape, and then you got the lyrics on the second tape, and then Inspector Deck was on the third tape, was last vein, vocals.
Yep.
And so I went to transfer it at Dr. Dre house, and the engineer didn't put that third tape on there. He just thought it was 2.
Damn.
Then Dr. Dre heard it and let Tupac hear it, because Dr. Dre said that he did it. And Tupac coming, yeah, I got a song with Method Man. I'm like, nigga, that's my shit. You heard me rapping on it first, right? So I know he put his verse on there, and they left Inspector Deck vocals on, but they never got paid for that song. Never in 30 years.
Damn, bro.
That's why I'm going to court now and auditing their ass to make sure I get the splits right, because right now they got Tupac as a third, Kurupt as a third, and me as a third. That was a Suge Knight move to control the publishing and all the other type of shit. But I should be getting 50%, right?
Yep.
For the music.
Yep.
And the other 50%, us 6 got to divvy that thing up.
Right. It's only
So
fair.
that's what I'm going to audit their ass and try to get that, so I get me paid my 50% and get Method Man, Redman, Inspector Deck, and everybody else the proper credit and payment for 30 years.
Yeah, we salute you for being stand-up for that business. That's dope. Let's jump into Above the Rim soundtrack, because I'm not gonna tell them what we're here to do, but Above the Rim was a staple. Soundtracks as a whole were staples. You had Boys in the Hood, you had The Menace to Society, you had
B. Rizil, everybody.
You had that. So Above the Rim, one of the biggest. I mean, you got the Jewel song on there.
We
Which
recorded everything at Larrabee.
For real?
Everything at Larrabee. I came up first with Dogg Pound for Life. Boom, 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 boom. That was the sample I had.
Yep.
Got it from an old rock and roll record.
Yo.
And then I slowed it down, when you got it on the MP. Boom, that motherfucker was sub. I put them drums to it and put that shit, and we all came in and wrote that thing, and then that's how the soundtrack was born like that. You know what I'm saying? And
man, that shit was amazing.
I came in and did Big Pimpin', listening to Edwin Starr, doo-doom, doo-doom, Ice-T, High Rollers, and that drum, boom, boom, boom. I just snatched that and made Big Pimpin' from the bass line, doom, doo-doo-doo-doo. So if you heard that, boom, you know what I mean? And the rest was history. Then Nate Dogg came in, and our friend Big Pimpin', rest in peace, he did the little poetry shit at the end. And that just kicked it off.
That's why y'all named it that?
Yeah, because he Big Pimpin'.
Nah, that's dope.
And Dr. Dre met him on the beach. Nigga was doing poetry like this and shit. And spit Dr. Dre some words. That nigga Dr. Dre said, pack your shit up, you finna come move with me.
Wow.
It was history from then on.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm gonna say a couple of names, and then you gonna tell me what it mean to you. The Michael Jordan of rap is who?
The Michael Jordan of rap, Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg's the Michael Jordan of rap.
Jay-Z, and there's a couple of them, you know what I'm saying? Like
I would give you the Kobe Bryant of rap.
Oh yeah, Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Okay. The Hakeem Olajuwon of rap. That means finesse.
Big Daddy Kane.
That's a good one.
Kane.
That's a good one. The Tom Brady of producing.
Tom Brady of producer, Marley Marl.
That's interesting you said that. Why you say that?
Marley Marl had samples and shit. He was kicking it off with that SB 1200. I listened to all that shit from Pop Art record, from the label that they have that was in Philly.
Right.
So, Steady B, Cool C, I listened to all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And he had his hand in some of that stuff too, especially like with the Juice Crew and all that, and Roxanne Shante, and then he started producing LL. He was the East Coast Dr. Dre.
That's a fact. Most misunderstood.
Mark the 45 King too.
Oh, Mark, yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah.
The most misunderstood West Coast artist from y'all era would be who?
Warren G.
Why you say misunderstood?
Because Warren helped so many people, and people was clowning him, not helping him and shit, and then look what he come out to be.
That's right.
Fuck y'all.
That's
I'm
right.
Warren G now.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? always treat somebody like you want to be treated.
Right. Most overrated production.
Most overrated?
Yeah, it could be one of yours, like, bro, it wasn't even that good at the time. I didn't really fuck with it. Or it could be somebody else's that you ain't really fuck with.
I mean, you know, shit like
That's over celebrated.
Over celebrated?
Yeah.
Like, what would you do?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like 3 or 4 mixes on that. You know what I'm saying? You got the first mix with the Natural Born Killers.
Right.
That I wasn't good at mixing.
Right.
My ears was fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Playing the music too loud.
Fucking loud, blowing speakers and shit.
DJ shit.
You know what I'm saying? It was either Dr. Dre or DJ Quick that mixed my shit.
Yep.
And I would learn from Quick.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because he technical.
Very technical.
So, you know, I would learn from him, and then I would learn from Dr. Dre, and I would just over-perfected shit. And niggas be like, come on, Dan, goddamn. I'm like, hold on. Something ain't right.
So you took an hour or two to make beats? Instead of 15
I make
minutes?
music quick.
Okay.
I listen and perfect it so long.
Okay.
To make sure that the kick right, the hi-hat ain't too loud, and you know what I'm saying? And always keep it down past the red. And then you can always master and push that shit up.
Most underrated West Coast thing. It could be music, it could be food, something that's a staple that's underrated that people might not know about.
They know about the weed.
That's overrated. They know about the weed.
Like I said, when we made the Chronic, we made the whole world start smoking weed.
That's right. You made the whole world say chronic.
Yeah, smoking weed, and the Kush came into play. But yeah, you know, just the culture of MCing. Like the West Coast niggas can rap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all fought hard for that. Y'all fought hard to make a stance in the game.
Yeah, because we used to come out to New York all the time, and they used to just like, ugh. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you niggas can't rap.
From the old school artists and shit. You know what I'm saying? And
when they used to ask y'all, like, where y'all from, they used to be like, we from Compton, we from
Long Beach. They're like, what, Long Beach, New York?
You know what I'm saying? Long Beach, New York. That's crazy.
They got Long Beach in New York.
So how did they look when they was like, where you from? You said, I'm from Long Beach.
LBC.
And then what they used to be like,
they know what it is. Niggas had khakis and motherfucking chucks on and shit. Niggas sagging. Niggas smell like a ton of weed. And then, you know, like we used to hook up with Tretch and all them. And, you know what I'm saying, we'd come out to the East Coast and, you know what I'm saying, and Biz Markie, you know.
Right.
Method Man used to come pick us up and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They was loving it, you know what I'm saying? It's just environment. Then we start coming out here, the Goody Mob, you know what I'm saying? Gibb, Cool Joe, Goody.
Yeah.
3,000, just everybody, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Family members, let's talk about people you still talk to on a regular basis that you've done music with. Who are those people that's like, you know, Warren, you say you talk to T-Mac, Terrace Martin.
Yeah.
Who are them people that you talk to on a regular that y'all can still have a music conversation about?
Yeah, Dub C.
Dub.
I talk to Ice Cube. I talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Who want to do music. You know, they always call me like the independent king, you know?
Yeah.
What should I do this and that and that? And I'm telling niggas shit nowadays. Come over here to mom, to other house. I got a pressing machine. Not no duplicate machine. A pressing machine with the jewel case, the plastic wrap, the print, everything. And you can get $45 an album is what I'm telling, because they looking at me and see I'm doing it, and I'm only pressing up 10,000. That's my limit. I just made me 450,000. I'm walking to the next project. You know what I'm saying? So 10,000
7 times a year?
Yep. Whew. And then from then on, the record's just selling. It's just like I got orders now. You know what I'm saying?
Shopify.
Yeah, Shopify. You know what I'm saying?
About to pull out the orders.
Gotta make it let you see, you know what I'm saying? See, like that Shopify like that.
So that's,
and you go right there. See, that's the orders right there. They order 1, they order 2, and then some people order 3 albums. See right there?
Oh yeah, I know you're going crazy.
That's Switzerland.
Oh, you
they
going crazy.
T-shirts and they albums and everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We always, in this show, we always end where we started. And we started with independent. Give the people one thing that'll change their life as an independent. Is it direct to consumer? Is it pimping the streaming game? Is it physicals? What is something that you want people to know that you know? Because I heard you were the genius and started a lot of this independent stuff.
Really go direct to the customer.
Okay.
Use the Spotify, the motherfucking iTunes like a listening station. Like we used to have a listening station at the warehouse where you go in there and listen to the music. But then you also, motherfuckers want a physical copy. Because when that phone die, ain't no music.
That's right.
Ain't no internet.
Right.
How you gonna listen to your music? You know what I'm saying? I serve with niggas with cutlasses and drop tops and shit. You know, that's what the CDs is for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
How do you form a relationship with the fans though, for them to just keep
Fulfilling the orders.
Fast, right?
Fulfilling the orders.
Okay.
Writing that name and hitting that shit up so them niggas like, damn, he did mine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I hit their name up, all that shit, just
Sign
the
'em
whole
and everything?
CD. You motherfucking right. You know what I'm saying? That's why they order 2 or 3 at a time.
That's
you know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's right.
'Cause, you know, I just been pressing up shit that hasn't paid me yet. Like the Chronic album. That motherfucker got $1 million right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Dog food.
Right.
That motherfucker about a 750 right now. And that's just off 20,000 units.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Kurupt the Streets is a mother.
Are you remastering them or are you leaving them the same?
I'm remastering them, but
Okay.
I'm leaving them the same.
Okay.
Same everything, nothing changed but the cover.
Okay.
I'm gonna chat GBT that motherfucker. Put some smoke on it. Generate. I love it. You know what I mean? And my next one I'm finna come out with is Doggy Style. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they gonna sue you. Well, you know, they ain't got no paperwork. We never had paperwork for none of those albums.
That's crazy.
When you do albums, what you supposed to have? Paperwork, producers agreements, and all that shit. Ain't none of that shit on there.
Right. That's right.
None of that shit. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. They would have been come kick my door in, right?
Right.
Hey, y'all.
One of the first times, I don't know if you remember this, and we're gonna talk about smoking because 2008 Southside Studios here, you, Snoop, and a couple other guys, y'all come to the studio. It's me, you invited me. It was a couple other producers there. Bro, I ain't never seen y'all smoke so much. I ain't never seen nobody smoke as much. By the time one blunt was gone, it's like, all right, cool, another one's coming. I'm like, bro, I got to step out. This is too much. What is about this smoking culture on the West Coast that just makes it like that, bro? We just talked last week. You showed me a pound.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I was in Cali.
you wasn't.
I was in California. It's legal. You
What
know
is
what I'm
it? What is it about that, bro?
I mean, you know, it's just
Like y'all wake
like
and
niggas
bake,
don't
y'all
smoke
start,
cigarettes. We smoke weed
but where'd it come from? Why weed?
because Rasta here, you know, celebration. You know, I've been over to Jamaica with Snoop with a reincarnated, and there was ladies like 91 years old blowing and smoking with us. You know what I mean? It's just the culture of just Rastafari, man, you know what I'm saying? And living life and having a great time and nourishing your body and eating right. Like I started eating right, and as you can see, beforehand when you was training me that time, I was fat, big, all that shit. I started eating that meat, that red meat, and just vegetables and shit that you don't like gonna keep you going and stuff like that. So, you know, just smoking because it curbs my appetite.
Right. Shout out to the life coach in the building, Rod. This is Women, Weed and Weather, Cali, Daz Dillinger, Don Cannon. We got to get technical.
Yeah.
Let's go. This is BackTrak. This is where we get technical. The West Coast General.
Yes, sir. Daz
Daz
Dillinger.
Dillinger's in the fucking building.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Don
here. Before we jump into this record, man, you ever did a pub deal?
I got a lot of pub deals.
I had a feeling you was about to say that.
I got a pub deal with Death Row Records that I'm working out. And I got a pub deal with Warner Brothers. But then I started administrating my own shit. And that administration your own shit means give them an address.
That's right.
Check come to your house instead of going to that other dude who's gonna cash it before you and then give you here, you take his piece out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So on that thing called BMI View or something, that's where you just put your information and they contact you.
That's right.
For the publishing and shit.
Right, and get that money. We was off camera talking to Eric Sermon. You was telling him about the mini studios you made. Something I felt that was kind of interesting is
from my favorite producers.
You got some studios of your favorite producers.
Yeah.
That's really dope. And why'd you do that?
Because I rent them out to overseas artists, not Americans.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They respect it a little bit more. I know a lot of them, they like, we want to just come in there and record for a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
So my studio's got bedrooms and everything in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So you can stay over there and you can stay out there. I got an outhouse. That's what I'm building right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? And come into the house. You know what I'm saying?
So you got a Nate Dogg joint, or you got like
I got a Dogg Pound
you got a
joint
Dogg
with
Pound
everybody in there. You know, crews, like the Dungeon family. Because I had Cool Joe and Goody and Gip. They're my best friends, you know what I'm saying? Along with Big Rod.
Yeah, right.
And you know what I'm saying? And Big Boy and 3000 and everybody, you know what I'm saying? All the Dungeon family, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They come right over there and record.
Oh, that's fire.
You know what I'm saying?
Above the Rim, we talked about it earlier. This song came over. This is one of my favorite beats of all time.
Thank you.
Clean, melodic, the raps, just the whole synchronization of every artist on here, how y'all worked out. How did this come about? I know, obviously, you're the head honcho when it comes to the music, beats. How did you start this whole process?
You know, listening to old school music, you know what I'm saying? Edwin Starr, Easy On, you know what I mean? And High Rollers from Ice-T. And so I heard that break beat, you know, when that boom, boom. Oh shit.
Let me chop that up.
Yeah. Cut the back of it, get over here, cut the other back of it, hit it, do it, bam, put it in effect, and then got the moog.
Yeah.
And put some rolls to it. And
so when you creating, are you starting with the drums first or
start
with
off with
music
the drums first?
Always.
Always. Start off with the beat, whatever the sample is. Okay. Okay.
Are you writing at the same time the drums, or you not?
I got 100 niggas in the studio. We all putting it together. You know, Nate coming with the hook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got Big Pimpin over here. He do poetry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I kicked it off with, woke up one morning, out some bomb-ass cot. Dick around the piece, so I moved around the block. Call my cousin Snoop, still know the lyrics. Call my cousin Snoop at the swoop in the coupe. Stop by my homie Blue House to puff on the loop. I see my little homie Style, who I ain't seen in a while. Then they gone floating on cloud 19. Drop that verse, put the hook on there, Nate Dogg, and Snoop come in with that. It's a rap.
All right, so let's start with the first part. You say you started with drums first.
Start off with the drums first.
Let's talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? So I used the Akai MP60. You know what I'm saying?
60 or 62?
60.
60, okay.
The first one, the box one.
Gotcha.
And I stole the second one. And it started off like this. Gotta kick it off with that motherfucker. Doom, 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 doom. So the bass line. You know what I'm saying?
So you had somebody play bass right after the drums, or you went to the keys after the drums?
I went to the keys. It's a move bass.
Okay. So playing the bass, are you directing how you want to hear? Or?
Yeah, you got to put that 32 swing on it. Any type of swing on it. Doom, 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 doom. And then put that bend to it.
So when you're playing a bass line, how you know it's enough? You know, like again, we talk about overproducing. How do you know it's enough to where I don't need to do more than this, that 4 or 8 bars?
It feel good. Everything is a feel.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Then you put the rolls to it.
That you?
No, that's Superfly.
Superfly. Shout out to Superfly. Dope. So when people are doing keys in the same manner, how you know, say, hey,
I tell them what I'm hearing. Yeah, I tell them what I'm hearing. I'm already pitching what I'm doing already. Yeah, play that. Then they jazzing it up. You know, they gonna jazz it up better than I do.
Right. Sometimes they're gonna give you a little riff. Do you keep them going in a riff, or you say, no, stay right there?
Yeah, like the songs that we do, we make them play all the way through.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if you feeling it, all that, you know what I'm saying? We want the full feel. Word. You know what I'm saying? Like bringing instruments, and bass players in, and guitar players.
Word.
And then come with.
What sound is this? This is out the.
This is a flute. This is an M1 chord.
M1 chord. Okay.
Stole that too. And that's the move right there. You know what I'm saying?
That's Superfly.
That's Superfly.
Okay. So that makes the West Coast sound right there.
Yeah.
You know what I
The
mean?
move.
Yeah.
Learn from Dr. Dre with the move.
Yeah.
And you know, you add your hi-hats to it. You know, like
The triangle.
triangle.
Yeah. Was that to clean up the dirty sound?
I just added it because it sounded good. The ding, oh shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And you put that shaker in there.
Uh-huh.
And then that. Then that second. I always use three hi-hats.
A live one, drum machine one.
Yeah, like, man.
What's the importance of layering? Why are you layering?
Yeah.
You give it warmth or?
It all depends on how many tracks you got.
You will run out of tracks on that motherfucker.
Yeah, you will run out on the 8 track. Yeah, but you know, just everything is like doubling up, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's all about that panning. I learned that from Dr. Dre.
Right.
Why this sounds on this side, it sounds good, and this side it's back and forth. And then you used to have that thing on the SSL where it pans back and forth.
Yeah. So
all the
what?
time.
So your key was mono and panning, or just everything stereo?
Stereo with the panning that's going like 3, what they call that? 3
Yeah.
surround sound.
Yeah.
That's when they was doing surround sound. But then they had that little speaker
Yeah. The little autophone.
about the size of that right
yeah,
there.
the autophone sound like a car radio.
Yeah, that's what you really gotta listen to your music on.
Yeah. To sound good.
To
in
hear
here.
everything. If it come out good on there, you can hear everything on there.
Yep.
Print that bastard.
That's right. So with this production, there was a lot that went into it.
Yeah.
But what are the things that you was like, I need to subtract? Anything that you put in originally that you wanted to subtract or you did too much?
We just laid the lyrics down, and then we start adding more after the lyrics was laid down. But then after that, it just fitted in because you got so much going on right here on the board. You can always cut and just let the bass line go. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Take all that out. You know what I'm saying?
And you do that according to the lyrics, right?
Whatever the lyrics go, however it feels. If I fuck up, rewind it back, do it again. You know what I'm saying? But this is an SSL board. This is the top of the line, y'all.
Right. You talked about Dr. Dre and the mixing style.
Yeah.
And I think he's one of our best engineers to ever hit hip hop, right? You learned some stuff from Quick.
Most
Did
definitely.
you implement any of that in this record?
Just some West Coast shit. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
what I'm doing is my feel, and then I'm bringing it to life. You know what I'm saying?
Mixing wise, I'm thinking just clarity.
Just have my shit banging. I don't want to hear some shit's cracking in the middle of something. I need, you know what I'm saying? That's when they got gate.
Right.
You gate whatever you got, and then I would take them two and put them on another track so I could have a little bit more highs to it. It's all about them highs too, and making sure them hi-hats is right.
Okay. After you did this record, I mean, one of the best parts of this record, honestly, is the intro.
Yeah.
Right? Was that done after or was it done at the same time?
Done at the same time.
So you was like, we need a killer intro.
Yeah. Doom, 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 and you look out the window. Doom, doom. Yeah. Woke up one morning, not some bomb ass car. My dick kinda limp, so I cruise around the block. Call my cousin Snoop at the swoop in the coupe. Stop by my homie Blue House, the puff on the loop. See my little homie Style, who I ain't seen in a while. Then they gone floating on cloud 19. Liquor store, so I grabbed some mixed gin and juice. Got a £quarter of bud, so we fucked up 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, bail back in the crib because we all in. Conversated, then I dug that hoe out. I fixed me some food and blown the hell out. 2 a.m. on the diz out. I paused and I stiz out. I reminisce on the ass that I reside. Now I'm high as a kite, yeah, and I'm feeling all right. 4 a.m. as I stroll back to my crib to see what's with my woman and my newborn kid. With my mind on my money and my money on my mind. We do this every day about the same time. Yeah, I was at the park one day. That's when I saw her face. She looked kinda gabby to me. Yeah, that's when I take her home. and tap that ass, I'm gone. I'm just a dog, don't play me. Snoop Dogg, now do I love them hoes? Hell no, why is that? Because I'm Snoop Dogg and dog. And you never gave a fuck about a bitch, cause to you, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Yeah.
Yeah, you still perform that record, huh?
They want to hear that.
I already know.
I know all my lyrics.
For real, to every record.
I get paid from it. Got to know.
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
When you get paid from something, hell yeah, I know the lyrics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Midnight Love. Now it's all about the dollars and dollars that bounce. I know all the motherfuckers.
Wow. So you did this on an MPC 60 originally.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and digital now? Like, you're using digital now, but is it still a great feeling in the 60 versus
Yeah,
digital?
because you can put on there and time stretch that shit and
Yeah.
make it in the drum machine and then put it in there and do some other shit that these computers make shit happen.
Right.
Man, thank God for these computers, man.
No, real shit.
You know what I'm saying?
What don't you miss about the 60? I was on the ASR. One thing I didn't miss about
I forgot about how to use that motherfucker, to be real. I gotta plug it up and look at it again. I know 6 is a sample.
Yeah.
1 is cutting and shit, you know, I just gotta get back into it.
But what were the pains of it? Like I said, with the ASR, my pain was the corrupted disc.
disc.
Yeah.
Switching my shit from a floppy disk to a zip drive. You know, the big floppy zip.
Yeah.
Trying to do something, trying to do it yourself. Fuck the drum machine up.
Damn.
But yeah, I got all my drum machines. I got like 5 of them things. Then it got from that big to that big to that big.
Yeah.
Now they that big.
Yeah. Calculators.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I still fuck with it. You know, I got 2 of them. I got all my Digio 1s, Digio 2s, the Digio 3s.
Digio 3.
The one that you know,
Yeah.
I got all that shit. I got a studio that I'm gonna build with just all that type of shit in there.
Word.
All the shit that I got.
That's
in
what I
my
was about to
store.
ask you. So if somebody from overseas, like say somebody come from Japan, they ran out your studio for a month and they're like, yo, I love what you did with this record. Can I use the drum machine that you did that? Is that accessible to them?
Yeah, it may add it on to the fee. It's like if you written the stuff.
It's part of the museum. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
all that shit, you know, coming here and band and you can pay me to be on the property to hang out with you.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be watching this shit. But you know, all my friends from like Germany and Switzerland,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, who all want to do music and shit. They just don't know where to go, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm building what I'm building.
Right.
To accessible that and plus have a place where I just steadily working.
Right.
And, you know, have your own, you know, you ain't gotta worry about the rent. You know what I mean?
It's all bought up.
All that shit, it's all paid for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm just worrying about the property taxes. You know what I'm saying? What they gonna come with this year? Is the school gonna get some more money? But just creating, I just love creating.
Yeah.
Music is my life.
Yeah, me too.
And now that it's a business now,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And I have to show my kids that this is a business.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That Who Ride With Us song just paid us $25,000.
Right.
That motherfucker 20 years old.
Wow.
Red Bull want to use it. They just want to dance to it.
Wow.
That's what I mean. Publishing is key, y'all. That's what Tupac told me.
Yeah.
He said that I'm going to give you a jewel that's going to last you to the end of eternity for you. And that was publishing.
Mm.
I didn't understand what it was at first, but then later on, it's about, you know, you don't know what you know until you know it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So don't sign shit. Get a notary.
Get a notary.
Before I sign a contract, I get a notary. You know what I'm saying? One of them real contracts. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. So it's safe to say that you're never selling your masters.
Wow, I could wait in time to make that money.
35 years, you get it back.
I waited 35 years now. Motherfucker don't pick up the phone now. I'm gonna kill him. You know what I mean? Pick up the phone. Cause I ain't selling shit. You know what I'm saying? I just wait in the mail. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting so many licenses. Why would I sell
Right.
my shit?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then for the street guys who want to sample my shit, I make a deal with them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really going for everybody because everybody a fan. Everybody want to use it. I tell a motherfucker, if you want to use my music, make sure you give me my publishing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It takes a extreme amount of patience for you to just sit and collect checks and licensing deals and stuff like that versus somebody getting 200 mil up front. So I can understand how people do sell and how people don't sell.
So if I hold back on them, they're gonna give me some more money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna hold back on you motherfuckers. I'm gonna make this real money first.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? And press up the shit, because you know, you get the albums back after 35 years. So you start distributing them motherfuckers.
That's right.
Like I was listening to my homeboy's name is Howard Johnson. So fine.
Yep.
Blowing my mind all the time. He
Yep.
got his shit back.
Yep.
He was telling me how to, you know what I'm saying? So he making so much money off that shit and off that one song.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was
Like
talking to Teddy about it. Teddy Riley said
Oh
that
yeah, his shit
every
reverted.
year since he's starting, he's getting more and more albums
That's
every
what I say.
year.
Starting off with the Chronic in 2028.
Yep.
And then from then on, I get everything back that y'all done seen. From every album that y'all done seen, from the Chronic, Doggy Style, all that shit, everything reverts back. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But they ain't got no contract, so I'm gonna have it reverted back. I'm gonna tell the judge I need it back early.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Produce the contract, audit.
I want to be there when you get that part.
I'm gonna throw the biggest party in the
I'm
ATL.
gonna be there for that one.
I think I'm gonna bulldoze 3.5 acres and make a whole party zone right there.
We talked about the past. We got to talk about the future. What's
Yeah.
coming up for you?
The future is more content, 'cause that's what they want. I'm working on a Dogg Pound AI movie.
Mm.
I got a script, and I got the money for the credits, 'cause you know credits cost.
That's right.
And I make it accurate, facial wise. My boys out there in Poland, shout out to 2 Men, work on the documentary and license some more music out.
Man, you played me a bunch of albums. What's the albums you got
Man,
coming?
Smith and Wesson, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tech and Steel for believing in me, to give me the chance to work with them. And we made some incredible music, just us 3. Shout out to the Locks, Jadakiss, Chic, motherfucking P, you know what I'm saying? And everybody in that crew right there, from Jazz to Day, Zell, you know what I mean? And everybody at the D Block studio. And I just been on the East Coast on my Ice Cube mission, you know what I'm saying?
That's facts. That's facts.
And so I just
Dream project. What you think of?
Dream project, shit. Just getting the publishing. 'Cause everybody on there. I got songs with Heavy D.
Yeah, right.
He in my catalog. You know what I'm saying? I got a whole bunch of songs and stuff like with people. I just gotta sit there. Like I always say, if you know what you got, then you ain't got much. So that's why I need to go in there and see what the fuck I got.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of checks that come in. They got new companies and shit called Mogul and shit. They find your royalties. It's so many
They got 'em
motherfucking companies
all.
out there find your royalties. They gonna be the one that gonna rob you.
Bro, it's a company in here. Shout out to Astro Studios. There's a company in here called Royalties House.
Yeah.
They in there talking about, you got your royalties yet?
They said, but they want to get a piece of that. So you just
Yeah.
got to learn how to go in there and speak for yourself.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And don't go too ghetto, you know what I'm saying? Scare the motherfuckers off. You know what
Now
I'm
you got to
saying?
get on there like Black Klansman. Hello, how are you?
Yeah.
I'm calling on behalf.
Get on Chat GBT. They're going to word it up for you.
Yeah.
Explain to chat what you want and get that paperwork. They're your lawyers. They're the best lawyers. But, you know, administrate your own shit by giving them an address.
Yeah.
Your life depends on your publisher. You know what I'm saying?
That's a bar.
Yeah,
That's a
because
big
I look
bar.
at Big Boy and I look at, 3,000 and, you know what I'm saying? And
Heavy
hey,
publisher.
they just built a big ass motherfucking apartment building next to the Stankonia, huh? They tore that little place down over there, you know what I'm saying?
that corner right there, yeah.
But it's all about building, you know what I'm saying? I'm a construction contractor too.
That's right.
You know, all my properties, like in the state of Georgia, if you own the property, then you're the contractor. So you just go get you a permit and it's on, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So, like I say, music publishing is your life if you in this game.
That's
You know what
right.
I'm saying? Don't give it away. Man, learn from this producer,
Yes,
this
sir.
producer. We ain't gonna shoot y'all away. We always
right.
want to give some game
That's
to
right.
those who want to learn it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel good, and you know what I mean? And I'm finna go license some more songs out.
That's right.
Shout out to CBS, you know what I'm saying, for the Reasonable Doubt. They just use Streets is a Mother in there.
Ooh.
And you know what I'm saying? And Nemesis, they use Murder Was the Case. They use Sea Walking. They using all that shit in there. Shout out to Grand Theft Auto. You know what I'm saying?
I need to see that check.
And all that type of shit. You know
I
what I'm
need to see
saying?
what that check
They,
is like.
but you know, they have how that shit work is like they have a fee like 7,500, 3,000, could be 17,000, could be 100,000. It's all about the percentages that you create for that song, determine how much you're gonna get off of that chunk.
That's
They're
right.
gonna chunk your way, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And if you got a publisher, then they're gonna see the money before you. So
Mhm.
hold out, you know what I'm saying? And learn publishing, you know what I'm saying? And you'll be great at it.
That's right. That's where you learn the best game. BackTrak, Daz Dillinger, Don Cannon.
Right here.
We here, baby. I made it happen. I made it happen
The
for y'all.
affiliates, you did.
I made it happen for y'all.